Turns out people have been losing sleep over that question for most of human history.
And where better to learn about history than your local library?
So I did the antique version of Googling.
I don't know how libraries work.
And I found the book I was looking for. It's called The Population Bomb, and it was written in the late 60s by a biologist named Paul Ehrlich.
Here's the deal. The first half of the last century was really bad for food security.
The global population was increasing on a very shaky food supply, leading people like Paul Ehrlich to some pretty dire conclusions.
When Paul Ehrlich looked to the future, it just didn't look that good. First sentence of the book.
The battle to feed humanity is over. In the 1970s and 80s, hundreds of millions of people will starve to death in spite of any crash programs embarked upon now.
Mr. Ehrlich saw an explosion coming, and I don't blame him.
This book was written in the middle of the Cold War and a global food crisis.
I can sit here with 50 years of historical context and say that none of Paul Ehrlich's predictions came true. But why is that?
Well, if you think about it, if you listen to what guys like Paul Ehrlich wrote in his book, to sell his books and his speeches and his theories, the reality we would have been doomed in the 70s, which means you would not have been here.
And I am here.
Yeah, you're here because of people like Jeff, farmers, and people like Norman Borlaug.
Norman Borlaug.
Jeff?
Well, he helped with the Green Revolution, and we've produced how much more food because of him?
Well, Norman Borlaug, Nobel Peace Prize winner, saved billions of people.
Okay, cut. You said billions, not millions.
No. I mean billions. He saved billions of people.
Billions?
You need to look this up.
Jeff, billions?
Yeah, if we weren't, it's more than millions. It's billions.
Rob's right about Norman. Probably a good thing, though, especially if you're one of the billion. Norman crossbred different types of wheat to make them yield more and resist disease. Working against the clock, he moved from the US to Mexico to get 2 growing cycles per year. A side effect of Norman's arrival is that Mexico went from importing wheat to exporting wheat. Then when famine struck in India, Norman put his wheat to work there too. One of Norman's most famous quotes encapsulates the attitude of pretty much every farmer I've ever talked to. Don't tell me what can't be done. Tell me what needs to be done, and let me do it.
Now, obviously, I'm careful about making Rob's point for him, but Norman Borlaug fed 1 billion people. That kind of makes him a superhero, doesn't it?
When you consider Paul Ehrlich's pessimistic quote versus Norman Borlaug's optimistic quote, like rationalize that for me. Why would you take the pessimistic side?
Well, because I feel like Norman Borlaug's quote could have a qualifier. I think it could say, by any means necessary, do what needs to be done. You can't get something from nothing. Modern crops like Norman's superpowered wheat need lots of nutrients from the soil, so farmers need powerful fertilizer to replenish the soil. And that powerful fertilizer has to come from somewhere. Haber-Bosch is a process that takes the nutrients from our air and converts them into fertilizer for plants. But my understanding is this requires a lot of energy, which means burning carbon, which means pollution. You can't get something for nothing.
Well, farmers don't want to waste the resources, and yes, around the planet, yes, some nitrogen is wasted, but Jeff, on your farm, you guys have no interest in wasting nitrogen?
No, nitrogen isn't, it isn't like it's free, right? It's in the air free, but we still have to pay for it, so.
It's ridiculous to think farmers want to spend more money on fertilizer. Nitrogen fertilizer is crucial to the health of human beings on the planet. It's estimated that 50% of the protein every single human being comes from fertilizer.
This is verified, and that means as a species, we rely on these systems, like it or not. Maintaining land quality, producing food sustainably, and watching the bottom line means farmers have more incentives to do a good job than I would have assumed.
There's not enough animal fertilizer for us to all go organic, so my view is that genetic engineering may provide a solution in the future for us to use nitrogen and other fertilizers more efficiently through genetic engineering.
So what you're both saying basically is don't knock the tools that farmers have.
Yeah, and we need these tools. We can be better stewards of the environment if we have more tools to do those.
I can agree that this system of high-yielding plants and powerful fertilizers has kept a lot of people fed, fine. But I'm also seeing how this intensive kind of farming could lead some people to an alternative, more organic approach. I learned quite a bit, but I still have tons of questions.
Well, yeah, what? Like what?
Okay, well, if modern farming is essentially giving the thumbs up to any tool to make the job go better, which I get, like, you know, fertilizer, chemical, all that jazz, is that not what started the organic movement, to be a counterpoint to all of that? And if I want to support farming that has no impact, can I just keep eating organic?
So what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like, not to knock Norman Borlaug, like, I'm glad that his system of farming saved 1 billion lives. That's great, but can't I support organic farming if I want to support a kind of farming that has, like, no chemical, no fertilizer?
Now you're starting to piss me off. Really? You think that organic farming has no impact on the environment? You've got a lot to learn.
Okay, I'm sensing another Rob rant coming on here.
Yeah, there's a Rob rant coming on here
well,
because you are buying so much into the propaganda, the organic propaganda, the organic industry propaganda. I'm going to use the word organic industry propaganda.
I'd like to save this for the next episode. Can you hold it in?
It's going to be hard to hold it in
Well,
because there's a lot that you have to learn.
Welcome to